Okay. If you know who said that quote, shout it out. I want to hear it. Yeah! Master Ugwe. Thank you. Okay. Master Ugwe. Now, there we go. The wise Galapagos tortoise and Grand Master of Kung Fu from the Kung Fu Panda movies. I like this character, and I like this quote because it's relatable and understandable no matter what phase of life you're in. And Master Ugwe was right. Today is a gift. I think, and I hope most of you would agree, it's important to be thankful for our gifts and to treat them well. So, what I'm here to talk about today is the importance of living in the moment. Living in the moment, in the most simple terms, is not being stressed about the future and not dwelling on the past. It's about being fully present and enjoying the moment you're in right now. But what difference does it make? Well, when you live in the moment, you're more likely to absorb new knowledge and skills easier, you have more control over your thoughts and actions, and you tend to enjoy life more because you're just in life more. Because of screens and technology and social media, you can get up right now, leave this talk, and go look up thousands of different ways to be present and hashtag YOLO and practice mindfulness. But if you stick around, I'm going to give you my top 4 tried, true, and tested ways I have learned to live in the moment over the last few years. Number 1 is realizing that it's never too late to try. When I first came here to Brentwood, I genuinely thought it was too late in my life for me to learn anything new or try any other skills. But in my time here, I've tried probably hundreds of different things, and it doesn't matter if I failed or succeeded because I tried anyway. And there are so many other people who did way bigger things way later in life and got way more successful from it. A few examples are Harrison Ford, aka Han Solo and Indiana Jones, who was a carpenter until he was 30. Stan Lee, the creator of Marvel, didn't start writing comics until he was 40. Samuel L. Jackson didn't start acting until he was 42. And Morgan Freeman didn't get any acting role in any movie until he was 52. But if the Hollywood scene isn't your thing, here are a few other people who realized it was never too late to try. Stephen King, author of famous horror novels, was living in a trailer when he was 24. Vincent van Gogh didn't go to art school until he was 27. Martha Stewart, famous chef and baker, was a stockbroker until she was in her 30s. And Fauja Singh, the first 100-year-old to ever run a marathon, didn't start running until he was 89. So no, you're not failing at life because you think you're a little bit behind or you haven't found your perfect thing yet. Everyone does life at different speeds, and the most important thing to remember is that it's never too late. Which brings me to my next point. Live the experience and don't think about it until afterwards. In his book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being, author Rick Rubin says, "If something strikes me as interesting or beautiful, first I live that experience. It is not until afterwards I attempt to understand it." And I really like that. So, hands up, how many of you have been to a concert or a show and you filmed it more than you actually watched it? Because I know I certainly have. And then how many times do you go back and actually watch those concert videos? Maybe a couple times, a couple days later to show your friends or post on social media, but you don't ever really go back and watch them. And if you do, is the show even as good as you remember it being when you just put your phone away and enjoyed it? It's important to be fully present when experiencing something, and then taking time afterwards to process it if you still feel the need to. A super easy way to get into those only living this moment right now kind of moments is number 3, which is getting into the flow. I'm sure you've all heard the term before, and I'm sure you've all been there. Pixar's Soul does a really great job of encapsulating this feeling that psychologists and philosophers call a flow state, and in their movie, they call it being in the zone. It's a really nice way to live in the moment because the flow state means you're so engrossed in a moment that it's all there is. When you're in a flow state, it feels like there's no sense of time and you're underwater and you could just keep going on forever. And although it takes a lot of time and a lot of focus to get into a flow state, I really like it because it helps me stay in the moment for longer, and the longer I'm in a moment, the more likely I am to remember it. My final piece, where we're all going to get to interact and have some fun, is about becoming aware of your surroundings. So we're going to start. Stay seating, look around, find 5 things you can see. And you can share with the person next to you. Maybe it's the giant eyeball. I'll give you a couple seconds. Share 5 things you can see. Okay. Amazing. Okay. Bring it down. Volume down. Okay. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to do the next one in our heads because that was a lot of noise. Next thing you're going to do is find 4 things you can feel. So, and not in that way. Maybe it's the sleeves on your arms or the shoes on your feet. Okay. And then, again, we're doing these in our heads. We're not saying them out loud anymore. Doing them in our heads. You're going to find 3 things you can hear. Maybe it's me talking to, that was so quiet. You guys are doing so good. Maybe it's me talking to you or yourself shuffling around in your chair. Just take a second, try and find 3 things you can hear. And don't make noise. That's not part of it. The last 2, it gets a little bit weird. Please bear with me. Please don't make it weird. But you're going to find 2 things you can smell. Okay. And then the last one, guys, don't make it weird. You're going to find 1 thing you can taste. So maybe it's what you had for breakfast or the gum you're chewing right now. Take a second. Okay, thank you. If you do this exercise by yourself, it can take a couple minutes maximum, and it's a really nice way to bring yourself back to the present moment. Now, these are just the 4 things that worked for me, but it's up to you guys to find what works for you and put it into practice. As Master Ugwe said, today is a gift. All we have is right here, right now, and it's important to be making the most of it. Thank you.